Making movies sounds like a fun career, but that's unless you get stuck with talent that's known for being the worst actors to work with. Some of these public figures and famous actors are difficult to work with because they are just too serious. Some of them have a reputation for being divas, and some just have terrible tempers. In this video, we're going to feature the most notorious difficult actors to work with. And who's the most notorious of them all? Well, we'll go with Megan Fox. She tops the list for allegedly being a diva on the set of Transformers. Word on the street is that she was fired after she called director Michael Bay Hitler. Damn! Well, you also want to check out these other celebrities that made it on this video. But before you continue, make sure you click the subscribe button so that you get notified when we post new content. It's a bit hard to equate such a prolific actor with the kind of temper he's reputed to have. Kilmer was at one time a star who was believed to be one of the greats. His many roles helped to showcase his range and depth of emotion. He could fill a role like few others and seemed genuinely dedicated to his craft. But from a very young age, it was found that he was anything but a people pleaser. When he was 12, he walked out on one of his first ever appearances, and by the time he was cast for Batman Forever, he had already gained a reputation for being confrontational with directors and writers alike. In fact, it is well known at this point that he and director Joel Schumacher engaged in a heated war of words on the Batman Forever set. While you might love the guy, there's no denying that he has a bit of a temper that he can't seem to control. Who would have thought that the man responsible for bringing Wayne's World and Austin Powers to life would be anything but friendly and slightly goofy when offset? Myers is said to be a comedic genius, and there are few, if any, that will dare to disagree. But he's also said to be a moody and temperamental control freak that terrorizes his fellow cast members and crew with his many demands. This condition got so bad once that his director for Wayne's World actually had to assign him to an assistant to keep up with his ever-increasing list of demands. It could be the pressure of being famous or simply the misunderstood workings of a genius intellect, but many people would still like to hoist a pint with Myers and drink to the man's on-screen sense of humor. Some actors and actresses seem sweet and kind on screen, but in real life, they are anything but that. Over the years, Katherine Hagel has taken a great deal of heat for her off-screen criticisms of her fellow actors and anyone that stands within earshot. She's been called a number of unflattering names, but the truth is that some people will still work with her while others are just waiting for her to mature a bit more. During the shooting of Knocked Up and Grey's Anatomy, she was said to be quite difficult. In many instances, she will seek to rip the scripts apart with 1,000,001 unneeded questions, or will just flat out refuse to come out of her trailer. This caused schedule delays and other related problems. To date, Katherine is attempting to change her ways, but what will come next is anyone's guess. Paltrow is what some will call quirky, in that she displays some serious personality traits that might leave some people scratching their heads. For instance, when she's at the gym, she wants someone to dry the showers before she gets in so that she won't come into contact with someone else's used water. On set, she's somewhat of a gossip, and she has been heard to speak about her female co-stars and colleagues quite often while praising them to their face. Now, this is a case where the media could very well be blowing matters out of proportion in regards to what an actor is truly like in real life. In other words, we are saying that Russell Crowe has been accused of being an angry and even confrontational person. However, he professes that this is just not so. Some people might disagree, considering that he once feuded with George Clooney over the fact that Clooney appeared in several TV commercials. Crowe then called him a sellout, which prompted a brief but notable feud between the two that eventually blew over. While he says he's not angry or confrontational, it is hard to argue with pictures and film clips that show a contrary view. There is a very solid reason why Norton was not back to play the role of Bruce Banner in The Avengers. While he's a very dedicated individual and is true to his craft, he's also a very big control freak that must have things his way. This makes him less of a team player and closer to a male diva, leaving him bereft of those who actually want to work with him. In his heyday, Hagel was the quintessential badass with the calmness of a Buddhist and an ability to take down bad guys like no one's business. As he began to age, however, His role in the action film industry began to wane largely because he could not adapt to the current needs of the genre. More than this, however, his character flaws began to show through. While he is quite impressive on film and even still kind of fun to watch, he has been called out more than once as a paper fighter, someone that is great when it doesn't count, but couldn't fight his way out of a wet sack if he had to. Whether or not this is true is still up for debate, but one fact that has lost Hagel a number of fans is that he's believed to be a compulsive liar. From recounting his days spent with CIA operatives and doing special favors for several of them, to hanging out with many influential characters throughout the world, Hagel has only succeeded in alienating his fan base when it was discovered that many of his claims were unfounded. Those that make award-winning films tend to get away with a lot, but they're still often noted for being anything but nice people at times. James Cameron is said to be a control freak and more than a little egoistic in that he believes he can deliver a new and an unheard story anytime he sees fit. It speaks highly of his ability to bring forth a story in a new and engaging light, but he is somewhat less than humble. This can be a good or a bad thing. There is so much that can be said about Kanye West, but much of it is based upon opinion and not hard facts. One very real fact is that during his short stint as Anchorman 2, West refused to simply leave when he was told that he was done. He reportedly stuck around and blasted rap music loud enough to disrupt filming, despite repeated attempts to get him to leave. More than this, however, the artist knows that he is slightly, if not completely, unhinged, and even tells people to not believe at least 90% of what he says. This sounds like some wise advice. There are few other divas in Hollywood that can top up Sharon Stone. It doesn't seem to matter what role she is played in, she will play it in such a way that those around her may very well be forgotten until she's off screen. On top of being beautiful and quite talented, Stone is undeniably intelligent, which can make for a volatile mix. One of her former assistants went on to state that if Sharon wasn't yelling at her, she was belittling her for one thing or another. This goes to show that intelligence doesn't always denote wisdom, as Stone is perhaps one of the best cases of egotism coupled with intelligence and a lack of humility.